Seeing none, Julie, you're up.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Right now, things are pretty quiet in the office. We're just in our off season till the cycle starts up again in July. So summer tax collection starts up July 1st. Our office does collect still for Shiawassee Township, so those summer payments come into us. Dog licenses, we are at 2,825 right now. Our staff has been making phone calls to check on those. Just, hey, you haven't updated your 2024 license. And most of them are very apologetic, and they have been coming in and taking care of them or taking care of it over the phone. So we've been working on those. We're looking into a new dog program. I think we talked about it a little bit before, maybe. We haven't come to any, Dr. Boggs and Tracy, we've been looking at them together, and online programming. It's a Michigan-based company, which we like, and seems very simple and easy to use. I think so. Something we're looking into. Their fees are $1, no setup fee, $1 a license. So if we sell minimum 2,500 licenses, so if you sold 2,400, you'd still have to pay that extra 2,500. But it's just $1 a license for the program. And
it was what, 8,000 for the
I'm not sure what BSNA.
BSNA had this other component to it. You couldn't use it at the vets because it had to be a governmental entity to have it. This one could be set up to be used by veterinarians as well and processed. Tyler, our intern, has done a little study of all the different rates and prices that I'm going to review of all the counties around us, and we'll have an idea of where ours compare to others, and we'll have to make some adjustment that, if for no other reason, at least $1 to cover the expense of the program, perhaps a couple of dollars overall.
So,
Yeah, sounds like we're moving in the right
Well, when the
direction.
vets used to do their licenses, they got a cut too, didn't they?
Yes,
they did. They got $3 per license, and so did the local units for selling. So, and we might want to revisit some of that stuff.
Yeah, because I hated selling those. I would tell people, oh, we're out, like we don't have any.
Yeah, and I'm with you
Very
there, because I was a
service-oriented.
township treasurer before too, and I used to hate dealing with it too. I think some of the vets might be happy to re-up that, and some of them though are very thankful. Their staff comes in the office to get their licenses, and they're like, we are so glad we do not have to deal with this anymore.
Right, for
So-
$3.
So not all of them
They,
will,
you know.
I'm not sure who will be interested in getting back to it, but we're looking into it, and we're trying to find something that the public might appreciate. It might be a little easier for them.
And by the end of the summer, we'll have a recommendation for it, so because all this will go into effect in the next fiscal.
Before the new licenses start, I'm thinking December 1st, possibly. But we can hop in at any time. There's no specific startup time that it has to be or whatever, so.
Yeah, I don't see a downside. I mean, for $1. Or a
Right.
minimum of 2,500.
Yeah, I think it will be reasonable, and that's kind of the one we're leaning towards, I believe, but no final decisions yet. Also looking at our changes to our credit cards, our Gov2Gov credit card services they're ending December 31st and changing their whole setup. We won't be getting the rebate back, our share of the card charges and whatnot, so we're looking into other options for our credit cards. So new things coming around the bend. And I guess that's about all I've got for you.
All right, any questions for Julie?
Did I hear right, your office is calling people to pay dog licenses?
Just, we're very, hi Sue, we see that you haven't updated your 2024 license. This is just a friendly reminder, and most of them are like, oh my, thank you, yep, I forgot about it. Others are like, oh, the dog passed, and oh, we're sorry. It's no pressure. It's just a friendly remind her. We haven't had anybody react negatively to the calls. Yes,
Just 'cause you
I'll
haven't called
say
me.
that. You know,
If I see that call, I'm gonna decline it.
right. We did have one gal, she was concerned, she said, how do I know this, you could be a scam? And we could have been asking for a credit card or something to pay. And we said, not a problem, understand totally. You feel free to call our office back and we'll be glad to help you. And so we did have one that,
Was smart.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I wouldn't even have thought of that, a scam.
You get a lot of weird calls. So.
Sure, especially these days, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anything else for Julie? All right, thank you.
sure, thank you.
All right, our first agenda item, and arguably a very important one. I would entertain a motion to adopt the 2024 audit and place it on file.
So moved.
So,
Moved and supported to accept our audit, and it is due,
it's the end of the month, and so we're on time for doing that. We have to have it done for the end of the month to coincide with what happens on the agenda item B. And so this will be our 5th year in a row of on-time audits. This will, we'll have a whole presentation about that at Wednesday's meeting covering the elements of the audit.
okay, so we can ask questions then.
This is hot off the press, it was this draft, and was sent today. We'll be able to have the presentation on Wednesday.
And the opinion was?
They're clean as always.
We all know what we're doing tonight, right? Going over the audit.
Oh,
I might.
you will.
Anything else on that? Gary? No? All right, all those in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same, and we will see that on Wednesday. I would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 250609 to authorize issuance of limited tax general obligation bonds series 2025.
So moved.
Support. Moved and supported, and this is Pleasant View, correct?
This is Pleasant View. This is the next step in the process. This allows us to sell the bonds. We met last week with Standard & Poor's on our rating, and we are waiting to see what our rating comes back as. We've had several meetings with the bankers and our financial advisors to prepare us for this. And as soon as we get the reports back, we want to be able to take advantage of a period in the market in which we have the lowest interest rate to be able to sell these so that Pleasant View can build their addition.
And the need continues to stay very strong for both the short and long term care.
That's great.
Okay, we do have Shayna here, as always. Does anybody have any questions or?
Madam Chair, can I bring up a point on what Dr. Boggs said?
Absolutely.
So, and I think most of you know this, but maybe not all. So, our organization is accredited as an economic development agency through our national association. I have been told by some peers in other states that having an accredited economic development organization with some bond people will actually improve your rating and get you better qualifications. So I would encourage, let them know that the idea being there's an economic development group in the community that's strong, stable, improving the economy, improving the likelihood of a good economy and repayment. So I've heard that from peers, so maybe offer that to your council.
I will. Thank you.
Well, and Pleasant View, as far as an economic driver, I mean, we're employing how many people?
280.
So more than we employ here at the county, significantly. So, and just, I mean, I've gone to the meetings now, what, 6-7 years. I mean, the quality of care there, the quality of the leadership there is just, we're very fortunate.
Thank you.
All right, anything else then?
Yeah, what do we expect our rating to be from Standard & Poor's?
I don't have a guess on that. I don't imagine that it'll change from what we currently are.
And that is,
Tracy, what's our current rating?
I thought it was A-.
I think it's A-.
Double A minus?
Double A-.
Let me double check, I'm pulling it up.
soon.
Yes, because we're gonna do this by the end of the month. It's approved by the board.
All right, if there's nothing else for the committee, all those in favor of moving this to Wednesday signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same. And we will see this again on Wednesday. Is there anything else for this committee? If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to our first call to the public for econ and physical development. Hearing nothing, I don't see Pete here today. So let's move down to agenda items. I'd look for a motion to approve resolution 250608, approving a brownfield plan for Lennon Road redevelopment, Lennon, Michigan, pursuant and in accordance with the provisions of Act 381 of the Public Acts of the State of Michigan of 1996 as amended.
I have no idea what it is, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna move.
Okay. I'll make the motion.
Craig?
There are 3 committee members here. I'm not on.
You can be.
This is the first time I've seen this information, and you guys want us to pass it?
No, just move it on to Wednesday.
Yes.
Gary.
I don't know what's going on, so.
You're on this committee.
Oh. You can put it on tomorrow. Move it on tomorrow. I'll study it over.
Okay.
You're a member of all committees, Greg, as board chair.
I don't know.
Yes, you are.
Then I'll second it.
All right.
Yeah.
With that discussion,
So I'm going to invite Justin and Sam up to the table to discuss it. This would be the first time you're seeing it. You received your packet on Friday or Thursday, whenever Morgan sent it out with all the details in it. And this goes over the Lennon redevelopment, a property owned by the land bank that they're looking to turn into housing. They're looking to put 4 houses on this old window factory property that's being redeveloped in conjunction with the SADP and the land bank through a TIF. And the township has approved the plan to move this forward as part of the brownfield. Later tonight, it'll go before the village of Lennon for approval on the tax plan so that they could be able to build these houses. Otherwise, that property will not be able to receive the utilities it needs to move forward.
okay.
If may I, since I'm land bank also, and just for a little background information, this is part of a long process. If you recall, when we started the land bank, the state turned over a number of properties that it was holding in the state land bank to the local land bank, and we have been developing those properties. If you'll recall, the Woodland Hills and the Washington Park property, and we sold some others that had no value. This is one that was held, and to be honest with you, I personally didn't think there was much development value in it, but obviously there is. A developer wants to put some houses there. So that's a great thing to get off the land bank's set of properties. And it helps the community. They're all for it. The local community is all for it. So.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Dr. Boggs and Commissioner Bruder teed it up pretty good. It's great to be back for another project with the land bank. You know, the leadership this board showed in creating this just a couple of years ago, I think it's exceeded even what we hoped, we'd be able to achieve in terms of development and blight elimination. To Commissioner Broder's point though, this was probably a little bit more of a challenging property. This was a site that was the former window factory, for those in the audience that are wondering where it is. There was an industrial building there for many, many years that became a very, very blighted site. The state land bank actually took the expense upon themselves to tear that building down and clean up the site. But with that came an encumbrance, a debt, essentially a lien, to help pay for their costs. So part of the agreement when the state land bank gave our local land bank all these properties, and Greg's already noted that we've had 2 successful ones already, Washington Park, Woodland Trail. This one came with that encumbrance, that in order to get it developed, not only would we have to find a good builder for the site, which we have, and I'll talk about that in a second, but then we'd have to have something that would generate some property taxes to be able to pay that off. Plus, as Dr. Boggs noted, also do some additional activities on the site, in particular public infrastructure. So this site, for those that don't know Lennon, it is not on a water system, but it is on a sewer system. So the site will have wells, but they need sewer, and that needs to be extended and served to this property. So what this plan does, what you have in front of you, should the Board of Commissioners approve it, is allow for the capture of dollars from the new homes, the 4 homes that are going to be built, to cover not only the cost for infrastructure, but that encumbrance from tearing down the building. So this is not money that's coming out of general fund of the county or of the village of Lennon. It is money that's being driven by the development of the property, the taxes the new homers are going to pay. So it's really paying for itself. Now, we did, as our role as staff, we did help put out an RFP for builders, and we got a good proposal from a local builder. Some of you may know the guy, the company, Shiawassee Contractors, Jason Bowen. Jason is going to build this. He's looking at ranch-style homes, affordable homes. He's actually being financed by Jerry Meyer. Many of you know Jerry, Metro Mortgage. And it fits in well. They've been in touch with the village council. The village is, as Commissioner Bruder said, the village likes the concept. They're supportive of it. They want to see development there. So everything's lining up. But we've got to get the plan approved, or else we can't utilize those dollars to pay for those development costs. And tonight, as Doctor said, we've got to get that final concurring resolution from the Village of Lennon. But essentially, not essentially, ultimately, the buck stops with the Board of Commissioners. You have ultimate authority to approve and implement this plan. So what you have in front of you tonight is to move it along to your full board on Wednesday night for final approval. And it was unanimously approved by our county BRA board 2 weeks ago, a week or 2 ago. Venice Township unanimously approved it. We expect that from Lennon tonight, and we'd certainly encourage your approval.
And just to add to that, I can speak on behalf of the numbers associated with the plan. We worked very closely with Shiawassee Contractors to develop this. Really the impediment to this redevelopment, not only from the costs incurred by the state land bank and that encumbrance, is the infrastructure cost. That is the Genesee County sewer system, and it has to be built to their standards, which has a significant cost to redeveloping that property. So overall, we're looking at about $270,000 of infrastructure related activities that need to occur before we can start any sort of hard construction on this property. And then because it is a land bank owned property, we will have the 5 years of 550, which will go where the state land bank and the Shiawassee County land bank will capture 50% of the taxes for the first 5 years. That will go to repay the state land bank for the costs incurred with the building demolition. And then after that, any remaining TIF will go to the contractor for installing the infrastructure. Right now we're looking at a potential for a 21-year payback. These are very conservative estimates. We're hoping that the costs come in lower and the taxable value comes in higher.
We also anticipate if we get the grants that we have applied for, which we currently have a letter from the state earmarking those funds, that it'll only take 5 years, assuming we get the money from the state of Michigan. So it's the only way that this property is gonna be able to be developed based on its current location.
That's correct.
And it's the only weird property in which we have to engage with Genesee County on, because Genesee County sewers is what, or whatever they refer to themselves as, serve that, I think it's through the Drain Commissioner's office, serve that region of the county and extend it to Shiawassee County right there.
And if I could make a side observation, Sam, I thought that you and your group made very conservative estimates of increases in property values in the area,
Yes.
2.5%. I really think that values are gonna go up higher and result in the TIF
I
getting
agree
paid
with
off more quickly.
I agree with that. We're always very conservative in what those values are gonna be. I like to show the worst case scenario, what we're looking at when we're projecting out taxes, and 2.5% has been what the state of Michigan has kind of given their nod and wink to when we're projecting out, so that's what we go with.
The TIFs are an excellent way to develop what might be sort of marginally developable property, because it doesn't cost in the long run the taxpayer a dime. It ends up paying for itself in the long run, and you have a forever, not only tax base, but homes and or businesses if it's businesses in your community.
Right.
It really does work well.
I think I've been doing this job for 23 years now. I think in the first 21 years, we had 2 of these TIF plans in front of this board. In the last year or 2, I think this is our 4th or 5th.
I think our 5th overall, our 2nd, 3rd land bank specific one.
Yeah. So it's a great tool that we're really starting to engage in now.
The land bank is doing great.
Yeah, the model land bank, when I'm across the state talking to other, communities, I'm like, you need to go to Shiawassee County and talk about what they've done with the land bank and the cohesiveness with the BRA, and really putting out the message about utilizing these programs to make deals happen. Because really, truly, the cost of construction being so high, this is one of the few tools where we can come in and offer, a low risk alternative to our communities to be able to make these deals happen.
And it's a very residential area.
Yes.
I mean, it's a great fit.
It's
It
a
is.
perfect
Better
fit.
fit than a window factory ever was.
Exactly.
I'm looking at the aerials because I wasn't familiar with the window factory. I'm like, why was that even there?
Across from a school.
Yeah.
They're gonna do ranch houses. It's just gonna
Catch
be
garages,
really,
space
really,
land.
really nice. Just
You
fits
could
right
also
in.
make that school more developable with houses right across the street. Because we'd really like to do something with that school.
The builder would like to get that school actually and do something with it. He actually commented at the
Yeah.
Glennon Council meeting that he'd like to get it for apartments or something like
That'd
that.
be really
Yeah,
cool
that's the big
conversion.
one for that community, if we can not let that school go to seed. Again, I'm not suggesting any subsidy from, we don't have it, but if we can use some of these laws and so on, use the land bank leverage, that would be a real win for the county.
Okay. Any other questions?
If I could, Brad, I'd just like to say thank you for being here and point out that committee meetings are the place for these discussions to happen. So I appreciate you being here and that we were able to entertain the motion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I think Commissioner Shepherd had a question.
Oh, yeah.
Who will be the owner of these 4 properties?
They will be for sale. They will be owner occupied by private individuals.
And with this brownfield, what's the tax layover?
It doesn't change the property owner's taxes. They would still get a regular tax bill. There's no special assessment line on there. Pay their taxes as they usually would, but what happens after taxes are paid is instead of going to all of the external taxing jurisdictions, so instead of going to Venice Township, to Lennon, is that would come to the Shiawassee County BRA and then would be reimbursed, a portion of that would be reimbursed to the developer. So the individual taxpayer continues to pay their taxes or have their taxes escrowed out of a mortgage, and that comes to the county as compared to all of the other taxing units.
To the homeowner, it would be innocuous. They wouldn't
Yes.
notice
They
the
wouldn't,
difference
yeah.
between what you pay in your taxes and what Greg does. The difference is it's essentially a mortgage on it, a tax mortgage of sorts, to pay for that sewer system to be put in, because there's no other way to do it affordably.
Yeah. And it's tax exempt today, so there's 0 tax dollars being collected now on that property.
Right, it's tax exempt through the land bank.
Correct.
But once they build upon it, put a foundation, whatever,
Yep.
on the 4 sections of that
Mm-hmm.
property,
Yep.
when does it start becoming taxable?
As soon as it's purchased by a private entity.
Correct.
Yep.
Well, does it, or is it?
As soon as it's sold, when it's no longer in the land bank's name.
Oh,
then
okay.
Yeah,
it's no longer
right,
owned by government.
exactly.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
you can start taxing it.
And
But as
I'm,
long as it's owned by government, it's not taxable.
and that's actually, I'm glad you made that point, Commissioner, because I believe this development agreement is the same. They're not buying them all at once. I think they're gonna be taking them down each time they build a home, right?
Well, we haven't negotiated the final elements of that, because he has said one, that he may want to do all 4 at one time, or he may want to do
That's right.
one at a time. If he does them like we did over in Woodland Trails, they take one lot at a time and develop it. And what that does is it allows the the land bank to still hold the property in case the developer does not complete the project, and we get to hold the property as opposed to transferring it. So we're very reticent to transfer property until it's ready to be built, because that property has inherent value to the land bank, and we don't want to give that up until it's being built upon, until it's ready. And then once the developer takes the property and the deed transfers, then it goes into private hands, and once it goes into private hands, then the taxation can begin.
And as I recall, the developer pays the land bank for the property.
Correct.
So the
Up
land
front.
bank,
Yes.
land bank gets money to help run the land bank and also for further development opportunities. Eventually, the land bank will, have a certain amount of bank account that we, as the land bank, might want to invest, and by invest, I mean help a developer or whatever expenses the land bank decides, because it's obviously not in the business to hoard money, but rather to use that money for development. So again, the land bank is doing very well.
Excellent. Okay, further discussion? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, all in favor of moving this to Wednesday, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, motion moves on. Next, I would look for a motion to approve the PA 116 farmland agreement application for Robert and Maria Carlin for parcel 010-23-400-01.
I'll make the motion.
All right, support, thank you. Discussion?
Just a farm in Bennington Township, PA 116 standard.
Okay. Any other further discussion?
The parcel number is not, it's missing a number in the last, it should be, is it 001 on the end? It should be 3 digits there, sorry.
No, it's true.
No, what is it?
Yes.
It's a different- oh.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 01023-400-001. What's missing is 0, but we'll fix that on the next one.
Okay. I assume we're okay to amend the motion to read as such.
It's irrelevant.
Yeah, all right.
Commissioner, we have 2 parcels there, 001 and 002.
There are.
Yes.
I brought that up.
All right. Can we amend the motion to show the 2 parcels?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Agreeable?
Agree.
Perfect. Thank you. Further discussion? All right, all in favor of moving this on, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to our second call to the public. Hearing none. Thank you very much. Meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, we got 30.
Yeah, well, we're going.